Setting. Und natürlich als allererstes der Basketball-Content. JxmyHighroller mit einem neuen Hit, Digga. Ich musste mir das die ganzen Tage jetzt verkneifen, das Video nicht zu gucken, weil ich es unbedingt mit euch zusammen angucken wollte. Deswegen gehen wir jetzt rein. Abfahrt, JxmyHighroller. This couldn't have gone any worse. Abfahrt.
Want to be the villain. Bill Laimbeer made a... Some guys just want to be the villain. Bill Laimbeer made a career out of being the villain. Kevin Garnett and Rasheed Wallace spent their entire careers terrorizing the NBA, and they loved it. Dennis Rodman's sole mission was to pester the other team into submission. Latrell Sprewell choked out his own coach. For better or for worse, the NBA needs a villain, someone we can all rally together and root against. And right now, that villain is Dillon Brooks. Or at least, that's what he thinks. Because this season alone, Dillon Brooks has managed to become public enemy #1 by getting into fights with Donovan Mitchell.
Bruder, aber den Move mit den Kameramännern habe ich auch überhaupt nicht verstanden.
Kevin Durant to become public.
Digga, er wird schon von niemandem gemocht und dann macht er noch so eine Moves.
Because this season alone, Dillon Brooks has managed to become
ja, was ist das?
Public enemy
Also gut, Neujahr. Danke so, dass ich mir wünsche, ihr auch, Digga. Macht ihr auch noch einen entspannten Abend.
#1 by getting into fights with Donovan Mitchell, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, Anthony Edwards, Pascal Siakam, Klay Thompson, Stephen Curry, Chris Middleton,
Jeder, der so ein bisschen Namen hat.
Draymond Green, James Harden, 7'2", 300-pound Joel Embiid, half the Spurs roster,
ja, da wollte er sich selber einfach
and Shannon freaking Sharp. It's almost as if Dillon Brooks woke up one day and made a list of the greatest active NBA players and said, F it, I'll take all of them. This has to be some sort of NBA
ja, kannst du machen. Mal gucken, wie viel wir noch gucken.
record. A speed run on how to be unanimously
Oh, das war auch so cringe.
despised by everyone. But of all the players Brooks decided to go after this season, of all the great players he provoked and pissed off on his way to 6 points and 3 rebounds on 38% shooting,
das müssen wir uns nochmal auf der Zunge zergehen lassen.
he provoked and pissed off on his way to 6 points and 3 rebounds on
6 Punkte, 3 Rebounds. Ich glaube, ich würde mehr in der NBA machen.
38% shooting. I think Dillon Brooks missed the memo on LeBron James. Because this ain't the bear you want to poke. See, in the NBA, there is a
Lay down, poke the bear.
fragile balance between how good a player is and the acceptable amount of annoyance they are granted. Shout out to June Lee from ESPN for this concept because it explains this duality perfectly.
Ist das nicht einfach die Hot- und Crazy-Skala von Barney Stinson aus How I Met Your Mother, Bro?
Now, the better a player is, the more annoying he's allowed to be. For example, Joel Embiid is fairly annoying, but he's really good, so he's way above the threshold. Giannis isn't really annoying at all, and he's the best player in the league, so he's about as far above the threshold as you can get. Right next to Nikola Jokic. And most elite players around the league fall somewhere in this region. Guys like LeBron, Steph, Lillard, Tatum, Butler, really good and just annoying enough to make it fun. But this is a delicate thing to maintain. Because when you're good enough, you can be about as annoying as you want to be, until you're not good enough and become unanimously insufferable. Ben Simmons is the poster child for this phenomenon. But Draymond Green and Chris Paul have also fallen victim to this as well. Really annoying and slowly declining in ability as the years go along. Now, some players have actually had an opposite trajectory. Not that good and extremely annoying early on in their career, but as their game improved, their antics have decreased.
Ja, ich mag Grayson Allen immer noch
The
nicht.
redemption arc. You love to
Josh Hart, ein guter Roleplayer, aber Grayson Allen bitte nicht.
see it. But some players have taken it upon themselves to be as annoying
Saß auf der Julia da unten.
as humanly possible while refusing to hold up their end of the bargain. Instigators who have absolutely no reason to be the way they are. Players like Pat Bev, Marcus Morris, Tristan Thompson, and even going back in time, there's been some absolute villains throughout NBA history. And yet, somehow, Dillon Brooks has found a way to be worse than all of them. Never before have I seen a player who is as unanimously disliked as Dillon Brooks is.
Habe ich auch noch nie, wirklich nicht. In meinen ganzen, wie viele Jahren gucke ich jetzt NBA? 9 Jahren NBA, Digga, habe ich das noch nicht einmal so mitbekommen, wirklich nicht.
And of
Nee, 7 Jahre.
all the things the game has to offer, of all the ways he can make a difference and contribute to his team, poking the bear is his specialty.
Und mittlerweile ist Pat Bev sogar bei den Chicago Bulls. Und ich muss auch dazu sagen, klar, die ganzen Leute magst du überhaupt nicht, ne? Aber wenn die in deinem Team sind, dann fühlst du die umso mehr, weil die halt, auch wenn es vielleicht nicht on a Statsheet ist, aber dein Team auf einer gewissen Weise helfen.
Even worse, he's not very good at that either. Because even the worst villains understand that there are some players you really don't want to piss off. They aren't fazed by your trash talk, but they will ruin you for trying it. These players are on the Do Not Trash Talk list. It's an exclusive club, and once a player joins it, the league comes to a silent agreement to never slight, jab, or trash talk that player. Now, any player can break this agreement if they so choose, but not without severe consequence. Larry Bird would often get challengers brave enough to trash talk him, and the result was always the same: humiliation and regret. Michael Jordan established his position on the Do Not Trash Talk list early on in his career, but that didn't stop the occasional lunatic from stepping out of line and testing him. Unfortunately for them, Michael had an unhealthy relationship with squashing marginal NBA talent into irrelevance. The result of this was always a career night for Jordan and a downward spiral of shame for the opposition. Kobe was MJ's successor on this list, and right when the league thought that no one was exempt from some competitive banter, Kobe picked up right where Jordan left off and never missed the opportunity to make another man regret his decision to pick up a basketball. How quickly can I make a man want to quit his profession? Well, let's find out. If you trash talk the players on this list, they won't just give it right back to you. They become obsessive, driven to make sure that you become
Wann war denn Richard Jefferson bei den Warriors?
right back to you. They become obsessive, driven to make sure that you
Tim Duncan hatte mal Stress mit Richard Jefferson? Also hier erfahre ich ja Sachen, die ich noch nie gewusst habe. Vor allem Draymond Green war da auch schon bei denen. Hä? Wann war er denn?
become acutely aware of the fact that you are inferior. It's psychotic, really. And among active players, LeBron is the natural successor to Kobe in this regard. Time and time
Ja, muss man leider so sehen, Digga, weil es halt keinen anderen Shooting Guard in der Größe gibt, der ungefähr auf dem gleichen Niveau ist.
again, over the course of LeBron's career, players have attempted to trash talk him, to get the best of him. And time again, LeBron is given no choice but to remind them exactly why that's the worst decision they've ever made on a basketball court. But unlike his predecessors, there's one thing missing about LeBron and his presence on the court: fear. It's been said by countless players across generations that opposing players feared the likes of Bird and Mike and Kobe, but despite being the most daunting force of his generation, LeBron James isn't necessarily feared. At least that's what some players say. This idea that as great as LeBron is, he isn't the killer that those players were. Which is weird because I've watched LeBron's entire career and I vividly remember this, and this, and this, oh, and this, and every other player who stepped out of line getting walked like a dog by LeBron James. Now, most players across the league know that this line of thinking, that LeBron isn't feared, is absolute horseshit. Dylan Brooks is not one of those players. And so, in an attempt to find some sort of value to his team, Dylan Brooks begins his campaign to annoy the hell out of LeBron, disrespecting him in the middle of games,
Goddamn,
calling him out
don't poke the bear.
in interviews, saying he's old, he's washed up. LeBron hadn't
Das mit diesen Altdegger, das killt mich auch nicht.
earned Dylan's respect yet. Despite Brooks' 5-14 career record against LeBron and the atrocious gap in head-to-head performances, Dylan Brooks was incessant, determined. It got so bad that even Skip Bayless, the LeBron hater, wanted LeBron to shut the kid up.
I seethe over this to the point that I want LeBron to destroy this man. Because
And for you to say that, that's saying
but
something.
It's so out of bounds what he did. It's so uncalled for. It's so beneath the dignity
Right.
of one LeBron Ramon James that he can
LeBron hat einen zweiten Namen?
destroy this kid if he so chose to do.
Das ist insane, wenn es gibt das.
Then to top off all the antics, Brooks drove the final nail into the coffin when he said this about LeBron and the Lakers leading into the playoffs.
But I wouldn't mind playing LeBron in a 7-game series. The legacy's there. First time back in the playoffs, knock him out right away in the first round.
And that was it.
Bruder, der Typ hat selber Probleme, also der Problem mit sich selber.
Unbeknownst to him, Dillon Brooks had just ended the Grizzlies season. The playoffs hadn't even begun.
Wie dumm kannst du eigentlich sein?
And yet the outcome was already determined. The kid flew too close to the...
Pass auf. Das wird der ausschlaggebende Punkt dafür sein, dass LeBron dieses Jahr die Championship holt. Seitdem Dillon Brooks das gesagt hat, Digga, ist LeBron nicht mehr aufzuhalten. Und ich wundere mich selber, warum der auf einmal wieder so gut ist. Und ja, jetzt weiß ich's. Don't poke the bear.
Sun. And his fate...
Ja, es ist ein weiterer Monat geschafft. Tu so, als wenn das was Schweres wäre.
...was sealed.
That guy, LeBron James, set the tone and tenor of this game early. 8 quick points on his way to 25, 9 rebounds, and 5 teams.
Okay, so the Lakers get out to a 2-1 lead in the series. That's not the end of the world. You can still come back from that.
The Los Angeles Lakers have the Grizzlies on the brink of elimination. Dillon Brooks picks up James. He wanted James. He gets him. James drives. James is fouled. And one. LeBron.
All right. A historic night for LeBron. Not a good look for old Brooks. He should probably turn it up if he wants to salvage this series.
With the board and put back. He is dominating in the James popped the clutch. Got it to fall. LeBron activated. Slot cut by James. Oh! He rose up. It's not quite winter for LeBron James. The Los Angeles Lakers will advance by virtue of a 125-85 win.
You know, I poke bears. I don't respect no one until they come and give me 40. So I pride myself on, you know, what I do is defense and taking on any challenge that's on the board.
Of all the outcomes and ways
Und auch schon sehr big. Bruder, das ist einfach fast ein gleichen als wie ich.
this entire saga could have ended, Brooks found himself right in the middle of the worst one. Get outplayed every single game? Check. Have a historic night dropped right on your head? Check. Get ejected from a game at the hands of the guy you were trash talking? Check. Get sent home in the first round as the 2 seed by the old guy you went out of your way to disrespect? Check. Must we not forget, this is what Brooks wanted, and it's what he got. But you want to know what's worse than an obscure NBA player trying to be the villain? An obscure NBA player trying to be the villain, but after seeing the mess he's made, decides halfway through a playoff series that he doesn't want to be the villain anymore. Because after getting ejected from Game 3, Dillon Brooks had the audacity to say that we, the fans, are making him out to be the villain.
Media making me a villain.
Er ist derjenige, der zu jedem sagt, dass er irgendwas zu ihm machen will, Bruder. Alle machen ihn zum Willen. Alles klar. Blauer Kopf? Was? Blauer Kopf? Das ist auch schon mal anders geil. Bin jetzt, glaube ich, Season 2 Folge und Tiger gerade Potenzial entfesselt und der blaue Kopf. Ah, okay. Ja, Aomini. Ah, kriegst du. Im Wintercup. Bruder, es wird nur noch wilder, Janni. Ohne Scheiß, Digga. Viel, viel besser als Haikyuu, Digga, diese ganze Scheiße. Ja.
The fans make
Heißt er nicht Daiki Aomine? So rum?
me a villain, and then that just creates a whole different persona on me. So now you think I intended to hit LeBron James in the nose.
That's right. It's our fault. It couldn't be the season-long pest crusade he went on or the direct trash talk he was doing all season. It's just merely our perception on it. But wait, there's more. Because after LeBron went for a historic 20-20 in Game 4 and laid the dagger right on Brooks, the man refused to talk to the media and avoided all questions and interviews after the game. How ironic. You mean this guy doesn't want to do a post-game interview? But at the end of the day, you take your L and you move on. Dillon Brooks, like countless players before him, learned the hard way that he just isn't that guy. I mean, how much worse could this possibly get?
According to a new report from Shams of The Athletic, the Grizzlies told soon-to-be free agent Dillon Brooks.
Das, was ich meine. Grizzlies tell Dillon Brooks he won't return under any circumstance. Du wirst nicht wiederkommen, egal unter welchen Umständen. Aber absolut besser als Haikyuu. Der Film davon sehr krass. Ja, ohne Spaß, Jani. Wenn du den ganzen Anime fertig hast, musst du dir den Film nochmal geben. Weil ich habe ja auch so ein paar Spenden-Alerts, die kann ich gleich mal zeigen. Die habe ich alle aus dem Film, Bruder. Die sind...
Coming back to the
Warte. Wo habe ich denn die drauf? Stream Elements. Tippy Stream. Gib mir eine Sekunde. Wo habe ich die denn drin? Streamlabs? Stream Elements? Stream Elements habe ich die. Ja, warte.
team, quote, under any circumstances. Woo.
I take that back. This is literally the worst case of mess around and find out I've ever seen in my life. Now, I've seen players get humiliated, sent home, benched for talking too much. But in all my days, I have never seen a player, a starter in the NBA, get released because he was talking too much trash. Even his own team said, all right, buddy, that's enough out of you. And it's not like Brooks was a bad player, mediocre for sure, but for the Grizzlies to go to this extent, to make sure...
Warte, ich zeig mal kurz einen Alert. Tipp-Alert für 100.
That time we were sipping on wine, I could see it in your eyes, you were feeling alive. Why I tell you I was good, why the fuck would I lie? Why?
Do not fear a man that spams 1000 memes. Instead fear a man that spams a meme 1000 times.
Sure that he never cost them another playoff series again is actually insane. Here's the thing. If you are going to be the bad guy, a pest, the villain, you have to embrace it, and you have to accept what comes with it. Patrick Beverley is about as unapologetic as one man can be. He's insufferable, and he'd have it no other way. Draymond Green is a jerk, an instigator, and he knows it. Trae Young loves being the villain. Dylan Brooks does not. Because as a wise man once said, everybody acting tough when they're up. Now that LeBron is older, he's slowed down, he gets injured more often, can't jump in.
Film hat nichts mit Serie zu tun. Also ja, im gewissen Sinne schon, ne? Also der Film spielt halt schon ganz klar nach der Serie.
As high or run as fast. Some players are beginning to think that LeBron is no longer on the
ja, und du spoilerst dir schon halt die Serie, wenn du den Film guckst vorher.
do not trash talk list. That the door has opened back up and they can talk smack without consequence. But even in his ancient age, 20 years of mileage, and apparently not being one of the most feared players in the NBA, LeBron still managed to teach Brooks a lesson he'll never forget. Some bears just ain't worth poking. Hope you all enjoyed. And as always, until next time.
Ah, Digga, das beweist jetzt aber nicht im geringsten, dass die Leute doch vor LeBron Angst hatten, Digga. Überhaupt nicht. Es ist fucking Dylan, Bro.